And so Abaddon, destruction. And he's stretching out the north upon, this is that word for tohu, that was the first of the two words, tohu and bohu in verse 2. And he's hanging the earth upon, there is not Ma. And we learned that Ma has to do with the kingdom, like the manna that comes down from heaven, associated with Bina, with understanding. And he's binding up, like a siege was what this word was related to besiege, to vex, in order to keep the waters in these clouds. And I don't know if the rakia, it has a relation to this, because it's like going against nature, that the water should get thicker and thicker as you get closer to the rakia. But the rainbows kind of point to that, because sometimes they'll reflect that it's like the mist up above the rainbow is thicker, maybe, I don't know, that it's showing like it'll be really light underneath the rainbow, and then there'll be like this thick mist above it. I don't know how it would do that. And not rent. I think that's the same word for shred to pieces that we saw before, that you would rend the heavens and come down, and not rent the cloud under them, that same word for under. And so he's holding back the faces of his throne, as if now he needs to move his throne, because they were actually trying to get to his throne, which is where? Upon the rakia. And he's spreading, he's too intensely spread upon him, his cloud, like he's making an escape or something. The cloud is hiding him. A hoke is a kind of rule that's like engraved, a boundary that he's hog, which has to do with those festivals where you're spinning in a circle. So he's making a boundary around the circle, maybe, upon the faces of the waters, until there can be come to this end, that not that day and night come to an end, but maybe that there is like peace, halal, that perfection can come, completeness. So this is a temporary thing, this barrier, until we can make peace between the two. So then there's no more barrier, there's no more like Jew and Gentile, male and female. He makes peace between the two, so there can be just one fold. So the setup of this earth is temporary. The pillars of heaven were trembled and astonished at his rebuke, the strength of his power. He's dividing the sea, and in his bina, his understanding, he's smiting the fleeing, he's smiting the proud. And in the ruach of him, the heavens were polished, is what this word should be. It has to do with shafar, which is to be goodly, but then with more details, we're seeing that is probably something that is polished to make it shine and to make it clear. And so he is halal, he's profaning, he's piercing through, his hand of him is piercing through that fleeing serpent. And these are just part of his ways, how little we know. And now we are ready to look into Bereshit Rabbah. These verses will be coming up again. If you missed part 1, we were going over some places that seem to reference the Rakia, that really expounded on that story to help us see what was actually going on this day that God seems to have so little to say about in the creation week. And God said, "Let there be a firmament." It is written in Psalms 104:3, "Who lays the beams of his upper chambers in the waters." We saw that this was an intense encounters. There's not really a word for beams there. So it could just mean an intense encounter, like somebody blocking the way of his upper chamber in the waters. It is the custom of the world that a king of flesh and blood constructs a palace and makes a roof for it out of stones and wood and dirt. But the Holy One, blessed be He, made a roof for His world out of water, as it says, who lays the beams of His upper chambers in the water. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. The rabbi said regarding this in the name of Rabbi Hanina, but Rabbi Pinchas and Rabbi Yaakov, the son of Rabbi Avin, said, this is the name of Rabbi Samuel, the son of Nachman. When the Holy One, blessed be He, said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, the middle liquid layer solidified, and the lower heavens were formed, and the heavens above the heavens, the upper ones, were formed. Rav said, their works on the first day were liquid, and on the second day they were solid. Let there be a firmament means let the firmament solidify. Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Shimon, said, let there be a firmament means let a thin plating be made for the firmament, rakia, just as you see it said, and they beat thin, wayargu, the plates of gold, similar to the word rakia. So we have three opinions so far of what this means. Rabbi Hanina said, the fire came forth from above and dried the surface of the firmament, solidifying it. Rabbi Yohanan came to this conclusion with the verse, by his breath, meaning fire, the heavens were smooth, polished, and we also looked at that verse. He used to say, Rabbi Hanina taught me well. Rabbi Yudan, the son of Rabbi Shimon, said, the fire went forth from above, and it made the surface of the firmament gleam. Rabbi Berchaya, Rabbi Yaakov, Bar Avina, in the name of Arava, Bar Kahana, said, the work of creation came to teach about the giving of the Torah, and the teaching was revealed through it. As when fire kindles the parts, its halves. When did the fire split between the upper and lower heavens? Is it not when the Torah was given? Thus, it was at the creation of the universe. Thus, it was at the creation of the universe. So he feels that this verse is talking about the firmament being made and when the Torah was first given. So fire kindling between the parts, the halves, could be talking about like a first covenant that wasn't made with us, like the angels first getting the Torah. So this is Isaiah 64, to make your name known to your adversaries, those adversaries he had when the firmament was made, wonders that we dare not hope for, such things never been heard or noted, eyes have not seen. You struck down those who would gladly do justice. It's because you were angry that we've sinned. We've all become impure, yet no one's invoking your name. You've hidden your face from us. You've made us melt because of our iniquities. We are the clay. You are the potter. Don't stay angry, don't remember iniquity forever, have mercy on us. Your cities have become like a desert, a desolation. It's been consumed by fire, your temple. All of our pride is an interesting thing, like you put your pride in your temple. So now there's nothing else to be proud of, and you restrained yourself, but do not stand idly by and let us suffer so heavily. Rabbi Pinchas, in the name of Rabbi Hoshea, said, as the empty space that is between the earth and the firmament, so there is an empty space between the firmament and the upper waters. So let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters means between them and in the middle of them. Rabbi Tahunma said, I will explain the reasoning. If it is said, and God made the firmament and divided between the waters which were above the firmament, I would say that the water is positioned on the very body of the firmament, but as it says, and between the waters which are over the firmament. See, the upper waters are hung upon the world. Rabbi Acha said, it is like the flickering of candles, and its fruits are the rainwaters. I think what he's saying is like a flame goes upward, but it's flickering, and the wax probably is what comes down, like the fruit of the candle would probably be the wax that goes downward. But this is an interesting statement because I think they're getting closer to, these aren't actual waters yet. It's more like clouds, like spirits that become clouds. So they could hold water, but much more spirit-like. And so fire goes up and water goes down. So the state of this water is probably that it wants to ascend, but because of the firmament, it can't. And it may be that the water above it would want to go down, but the firmament's blocking it, like wanting to show mercy, like water wants to come down, like Torah wants to come down. It's like the light above shines, and the water below all of a sudden wants to go against its nature of flowing downward and be like the woman that responds to now give instead of being a receiver, go against her name, which is like a receiver, and now give back light. So the water wants to actually evaporate and go upwards, but then it reaches the firmament and they're like, no, you can't enter, you need to go back down. It's like souls that die and go to Shemayim, and he's like, you haven't finished your job, go back down there. So then they come back down. A clepsydra, also a kitten. A certain Samaritan asked Rabbi Meir and said to him, is it possible that the upper waters are suspended on a word? And he replied to him, yes. Rabbi Meir said, bring me a clepsydra, a water clock. And the Samaritan brought a clepsydra, and he placed upon it a gold plate. But the water did not stand until under the plate. He placed a silver plate on it, but the water did not stand still under the plate. But when he placed his finger on the plate, the water stood still, and the plate did not bob. The Samaritan said to him, you are putting your finger on it. And Rabbi Meir responded, see how if my finger stills the water, and I am flesh and blood, how much more does the finger of the Holy One, blessed be he, control the water? Therefore the water is hung on a word. The Samaritan said to him, is it possible that he himself, concerning whom it is written, do I not fill the heavens and the earth, was speaking with Moses from between the poles of the ark? Rabbi Meir responded, bring me large mirrors. And he continued, look at yourself in what is brought, your reflection in large. Meir said to him, bring me small mirrors. And he brought small mirrors. Rabbi Meir said, look at yourself in what is brought, your reflection is small. Rabbi Meir said to him, see how if you can change yourself whenever you want, and you are flesh and blood, how much more he who spoke and the universe came into existence, blessed is he. And so when he wishes to be, do not I fill the heavens and the earth, he is, and when he wishes, he spoke with Moses from between the poles of the ark. Rabbi Hanina, the son of Isi, said, sometimes the universe and its fullness is not strong enough for the glory of his divinity, and at other times he speaks with man from between the hairs of his head. This is written, then Hashem answered Job out of the whirlwind, Sa'ara. But read instead between the hairs, Sha'aroth, of his head. And still further the Samaritan asked Rabbi Meir, is it possible that the river of God is full of water from the 6 days of creation and has not at all diminished? How strange! And Rabbi Meir said to him, go in and wash yourself and weigh yourself, and when you have not gone in, and then after you have gone in. As soon as the Samaritan left, he weighed himself, and his body weight was not at all diminished. Rabbi Meir said, "Now all that sweat that comes out of you, did it not come out of you?" And the Samaritan said, "Yes." Rabbi Meir responded, "See how if you lost no fluid from your body's spring of fluids, and you are flesh and blood, how much more is it true regarding the spring of the Holy One, blessed be He, that the river of God is full of water, and from the 6 days of creation has not at all diminished." Rabbi Yochanan said, "The Holy One, blessed be He, raised up all the waters of creation and set half of them in the firmament and half in the ocean. It is surprising. It is thus written, the river, Peleg, of God is full of water." The word river, Peleg, must be understood as the Aramaic word half, palga. The half of God is full of water, as if like God was everywhere, but underneath the firmament is full of water. Okay, so here is a terrarium. And for these, you're supposed to, I think, even never be able to water them or very little, because what will happen is the water will evaporate, it'll condense on the glass, and then just rain back down. So, very helpful. The firmament is similar to a lake, and above the lake is a covering. From the lake, heat condensation flows from the covering, and the condensation as rain descends to the midst of the salt waters of the sea, and the rain does not mix itself with the salt water. Rabbi Jonah said, "Do not be amazed. It is the case that the Jordan River passes through the Sea of Tiberias, the Sea of Galilee, and it does not mix itself with it. This is a miraculous thing to say. A man sifting wheat or chaff in a sieve, the grains have not descended 2 or 3 finger breadths, and they have mixed together. But these raindrops have traveled and traveled year after year, and have not mixed themselves with salt water." Rabbi Yudan, the son of Rabbi Shimon, says, "It is because he sends them down by a measured deduction, as it is said, for he draws away Yegara, the drops of water. But see how it says, and an abatement shall be made, Venigra, from your assessment," showing that the financial use of this root, gr, proves that God sends them down in a measured deduction. The thickness of the earth is equal to the thickness of the firmament, as it is said, "He sits above the circle, hug, of the earth, and he walked about in the circle, hug, of the heavens." Since circle, hug, occurs in both verses, they are a gezira shava, proving the earth and firmament have the same thickness. Rabbi Acha said in the name of Rabbi Hanina, "This is like a metal plate." Rabbi Joshua, the son of Rabbi Nehemiah, said, "They are about 2 or 3 finger breadths." Rabbi Shimon, the son of Pazi, said, "The upper waters are greater than the lower waters by about 30 extes, pints. Between the waters, above the waters, lamayim, the lamid's gematria is 30, thus proving his point that the waters above have 30 extra pints. The rabbi said, "They are half and half." This first part is like the Jews being sown all over the nations and yet not mixing with them. And so there's like paths in the ocean where the waters actually don't mix, and it can be compared to peoples that even though they come in contact with each other, their seed can remain pure. And you would think, peoples that would just completely intermingle, but we still can have like the ethnicity of Jews, for example, where even if they're mixed with other nations, they still retain their identity. I think this is showing that he has these righteous measures, and he's making the good judgment of which waters should be sent to the earth and which waters should remain in the heavens. and that this hug of the earth and the hug of the heavens, where they're making this comparison showing that they should be the same size, if the firmament is like this upside down dome, then the circle of the firmament would be the circle of the earth because it's reaching to the ends of the earth. So the ends of this heaven would be the ends of the earth. Here in verse 6, it is between waters to the waters. So one of these waters is going to have, I think, 30 less gematria total than the other. So that's why he's saying the one has like 30 extra pints or measure of measurement, whatever it was. But I want to ask, how would you know which one is the waters above and which one is the waters below? You might have to answer the question, which one would be the light and which one's the darkness. The waters below should be the kingdom of darkness, and the waters above should be in the kingdom of light, unless you're saying like man is supposed to be light or the angels are supposed to be light sent down below in a kingdom of darkness. But anyway, it should be saying like the good first compared to the second that's more distant from him maybe. But here is just what he's talking about when he's saying between the waters to the waters. So saying that there should be 30 extra pints, but others just say the waters are just equally divided, half and half. If we are going with how many stars of heaven fell out of all the innumerable hosts, well, only 7. So if these are the ones that fall to the earth and they turn into like Satan and his angels, it's like it's more of a broke down. So it's like people are smaller, but there's more of them. So these lights were like as big as the planets, but now it's like instead of just one light or some moons later, it's such a breakdown. We're not mountain size anymore. We're just ant size. So that's why I think all the nations in total are compared to a drop in the bucket. That's how much water is below compared to all the water which is above, which is not water as we know it, is more like spirits. So that's how many stars of the innumerable stars fell. Just 7, I think. That's called 1/3 of the stars because it's just the dragon's tail. And God made the firmament. This is one of the verses that Ben Zoma shook the world with. He made. How remarkable. Sure, it came into existence at God's word. As it is written, with the word of God the heavens were made, and with the wind of his mouth all of their armies. Why doesn't it say it was good on the second day of creation? Yohanan taught in the name of Ar Yossi, the son of Ar Halafta, because hell was created on the second day. As it says, the Topheth has been ready for him since yesterday, a day that has a yesterday, but not 3 days ago. Another reason that it does not say it was good on the second day, Rav Hanina says it's because division was created on the second day, as it says, and the heavens should separate between the two bodies of water. Our Tivyomi said, if division, that is for the sake of fixing the world, does not have good, all the more so division, that is to mix up the world, doesn't have good. Our Shemuel said, because the creation of water wasn't finished. It was written on the third day, it was good twice, one for the creation of water and one for the day's work. A noble woman asked Ar Yossi, why doesn't it say, and it was good on the second day? He answered her, even so it was included in the end, as it says, and God saw all that he did, and it was very good. He said back to him, this is analogous to 6 people coming to you. Give each one a manna, and to one of them you don't give anything. Then you go back and give 1 manna to everyone. It is not true that 5 of them have a manna, and 1/6 manna, and the last one only has 1/6. He said to her, like our Shemuel says, because the creation of water wasn't finished, it was written on the third day, it was good twice, one for the creation of water and one for the day's work. Our Liwi said in the name of our Tahunan, the son of our Eliah said, it states in the verse, He, God, tells the end in the beginning. From the beginning of creation, God saw Moses, who is called good, and was going to be punished from an issue regarding water, and therefore did not write it, and it was good regarding the water. Our Shimon, in the name of our Lewi, said it is analogous to a king who had a bad legion. The king said, since this legion is no good, my name shouldn't be called on it. So too God said, since these waters punished the generation of the flood, Dor Enosh and Haflaga, it should not be written regarding them, for it was good. Is it good that men revile you and persecute you? Yes, because great is your reward in heaven. So in the moment, you may not receive good from it, but in the end, it's doubly good. So instead of just something directly good, depending on how much hardships you go through, is how much he's going to doubly bless you. All that blessing you should have had then, plus the blessing to compensate for all your struggles. So he turns the curses into blessings. Tartarus, which is the place prepared for the devil and his angels, was probably prepared the very day that the fleeting serpent was cast to the earth. So this could be the mouth of that serpent. It's kind of serpent-like teeth. And then there is speculation that would take another video to go into, like that you would go through, this is like Medusa's head and the horse and things here, but this is actually all on top of a tooth to be the entrance into Tartarus, perhaps, because it's supposed to be through the mouth of a serpent. Not even Moses could defy water, but of Messiah, the way that they could know that it was he, and the disciples were so amazed, was that he could defy the natural use of water to walk on water. And that was one of the signs that this was Messiah. So this firmament defies water. A stable heaven, a stable judge, should be a balance between fire, judgment, and loving kindness, or maybe also mercy, even though mercy is that center column, where the goal should be to show mercy on the one that has been done wrong. So we have like giving on one side, the light, and restraint on the other side, the judgment. But the actual like sun in the middle, like Tiferet, that was the firmament that brought balance between the light and the darkness, and that's what heaven should be. It should be this balance between these two of fire and water, tending more towards water. So that's why it could be called water, because the water should overwhelm the fire. The mercy, the loving kindness should overwhelm this darkness. So the word is written shamayim. It can be read as shamim, evaluate. For they, the heavens, shamim, evaluate the actions of the creations. If they merit it, then the heavens will tell his righteousness, and if not, the heavens will reveal his sin. Shemayim, because the creations mishtomim, wonder about them, saying, what are they made of? And are they made of fire, or are they made of water? Water or fire? Rabbi Pinchas, in the name of Rabbi Lewi, said, he came and revealed it, as he said, he lays the beams of his upper chambers in the water. Thus you must say, they are made of water. Spices, samim, are referenced in Exodus 25:6, connected with the word besamim, which can be read spices or in the heavens. What are these spices that are referenced? From them the heavens turn green, and from them they redden, from them they blacken, and from them they whiten, and thus the heavens sometimes are green, and sometimes are red, sometimes are black, and sometimes are white. So close to finishing this chapter, but that's all we have time for today. So thanks so much for joining, and I pray you are blessed.